So welcome everybody to our first Innovation Cafe. We're so happy to have all of you here. This is something that is brand new for us, and so we're really excited to develop it and work on it together. A few just housekeeping things as it relates to Zoom, since it's not the county's usual platform of choice. Some of you may have limited working knowledge of Zoom, but just a few things to be familiar with are your mute and unmute buttons. So you'll find your mute button, it looks like this. Your start video button is also on Zoom. So if you're not on video, please go ahead and turn your video on. We also have here our participants icon so you can see who else is here. And then we have our chat. So the chat is something that we're going to be using quite a bit today. So go ahead and try sending a message in the chat. We'll see what comes through. Just tell us hello, your name, tell us what you did over the weekend. If folks could give the chat a try, please. And I see some messages coming through. Hello, everybody. Hi, Victor, Andres, Jennifer, Christian, Ryan. Awesome. Looks like folks are finding the chat button, which again, we're going to be using quite a bit of, and you all are going to be interacting quite a bit as well. Looks like we have Vanessa who also just joined us. Welcome, Vanessa. Awesome. All right, and then some other ways to participate in Zoom. We also have the reactions area. So go ahead and send a reaction, give a thumbs up, a heart, any emoji of your choice. Just so we know that you found the reactions tool tab as well. Oops. And then if any of you called in by phones, I don't think I see any phones on, but if any of you did call in by phone, make sure that you go ahead and rename your Zoom ID so it's matched to your name. Otherwise, you might be separated from your audio when we do breakout rooms if we don't know which numbers go with which people. So make sure that you rename your Zoom ID, which you can do here by going to participants, going to more, and then renaming your Zoom ID. So those are just some of the nuts and bolts of Zoom, and it looks like we have a few more folks that have hopped on since then. I see Sheldon on. Welcome, Sheldon. So awesome. I think that's it as far as Zoom goes. So let's dive in. Friendly reminder, please turn on your cameras if you're so inclined. We'd love to see the folks who are here. What we'll be doing today, we're going to start moving through some housekeeping items. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Innovation Studio. We're going to talk about what is this new thing titled the Innovation Cafe. And then last but not least, we're going to be working with all of you to show you how to use what's called a weighted decision matrix. It's a really quick, easy tool that you can use for personal, professional decisions. So we will be working through that as well. So I like to start every group meeting or every convening with expectations. And so these are the ones that the Innovation Studio has come up with. However, we'd also invite you guys to participate and to share your thoughts. The expectations of today are to be present. I know it's so tempting to multitask, especially working, like doing this virtually, and to do emails and Teams and all of that. But just remember, this is, you know, an optional time, and so you chose to be here, so we ask that you come fully present. The next is to participate. This is meant to be a community. It's meant to be participatory. This is not intended to be like a one-directional training session where I talk at you for an hour. That would be torturous, I think, for you all and for me. And so I'm going to ask that it's participatory. Number 3, what's said here stays here. We're really aiming to build a safe community where we can talk about innovation and we can talk about improvement and we can share about what's happening. But with that needs to come a certain degree of trust. So we ask that what is said here stays here, as we are going to be moving you all into breakout rooms in a little bit and asking people to share about some of the things that they're working on. In that vein as well, be open and honest. This is not about pride or keeping your dirty laundry hidden. It's about really sharing openly with the group, as that's how we believe that we can improve together. Number 5, this one is more for me or for us, is to show patience. We're learning, the Innovation Studio and I'm learning as we do this together. And so those are the expectations or rules of engagement that we have for the Innovation Cafe. But I wanted to also see if there's anything else that the group is wanting to add. And if there's something that you feel is missing or that you would like to add to this list, feel free to drop it in the chat or to unmute yourself and share it. Let's see what folks say. Okay, so it doesn't look like folks have other any other expectations. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you feel good about what's here in the expectations, or if there's anything else that you feel is missing, go ahead and put in the chat. So give me a thumbs up if you feel like we might, if we're good to go on these. Thumbs up, awesome, cool. Well, then we'll get rolling. All right, so a little bit about the Innovation Studio for those of you who have not worked with us before. Our purpose is that we believe in the power of people to drive positive change. That's part of why we are convening this group and why we wanted to start something like the Innovation Cafe, as we really think it's essential to have people and to multiply improvements and to multiply positivity. And so that's why we wanted to create a group of this type. And our mission for the Innovation Studio is to guide Maricopa County in revolutionizing how government solves problems through facilitation, training, and coaching to improve process efficiency and customer experience. So this is more the tangible of the things that the Innovation Studio does and what we're aiming to improve. So I'm going to launch a quick poll, or Martin is going to launch a quick poll to see how many of you have worked with the Innovation Studio before. So Martin is going to go ahead and launch that for us, just so we have a sense of who's in the room, or how many of you may be familiar with our services. Martin, I'm not seeing the poll on my side. I don't know if other folks are seeing it.
Yes, you're the co-host, so you will not see the poll, but we are just waiting on 2 more people to vote.
Gotcha. We're new to Zoom also, so we're still figuring out what's visible when. It's a mystery. And if you've already answered our poll and you have worked with us before, go ahead and tell us about it in the chat. Love to hear if you've worked with us on any particular projects or initiatives. Would love to know a little bit more about that, so feel free to drop that in the chat.
Awesome, we have everyone, so I'm going to go ahead and share the result.
Cool. And Martin, could you read the results out since I'm not able to see them?
Absolutely. So it looks like we have 64% that you have worked with us, and 36% have not.
Ooh, awesome. Okay. So we have about 2/3 of you who have worked with us before. So good to see you again. Happy to have you back. Let's see if folks have dropped stuff in the chat. Jen said she worked with us on the sequential intercept model. Gus worked with us on the rapid improvement process for application. That's right. I think both of those you were working with Christian Baca. So that's cool to see that some of you have worked with us before. I think some of you have also perhaps been in some of our training or workshop sessions. Kathy worked on the Combined Counter project. So Jane, Christian, all of your folks are coming out strong today. Awesome. Well, good to see that we have repeat customers and folks who have engaged with us before, and also that we have some new faces. So that's really cool. So a little bit about me. You've learned about the Innovation Studio for those of you who haven't worked with us before, but about me, my name's Kelly Rao. I'm the Innovation Studio Manager. I have been with the county about 1 year. I realize that tomorrow is actually like officially 1 year to the day. So that is kind of funny timing how that worked out. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, and prior to this, I was the Director of Quality Management for a healthcare company. So we focused a lot on data and compliance and process improvement within a healthcare setting. So have really enjoyed working with the Innovation Studio and being at the county. it's very, it's interesting to move from a healthcare setting to an organization like the county, which is a little bit of just everything. So that's me, and we're going to put you all in breakout rooms in a little bit, but before we do that, just for the larger group to be able to chat, go ahead and share with us in the chat your name, your role, and department. We'd love to see who is here. So I'll give you all a minute to do that, and I'll greet you all. So we have Ryan, Division Director for the Organizational Development and Support Division. Oh, that is a mouthful. You must have a very big business card, Ryan. Who else do we have on? We have Danielle from Learning and Development with Human Resources. Awesome. Jennifer Ferguson, Data Integrity and Analytics Manager for Adult Probation. That is very interesting, Jennifer. I would love to learn more about what you do. Yeah, I'd love to learn more about that. Sheldon, we are UX developer for OETGIS. Hi, Sheldon, good to see you again. Gus, a special projects manager from environmental services. Mitch from budget. Jen from the correctional health services. Awesome. I wish I could greet all of you, but I think we may not have time, but thank you all so much for introducing yourselves in the chat. It's really, really nice to see all of you here. And thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us. So nice to meet all of you. And why are we here? What the heck is the Innovation Café? So this is a brand new initiative for the Innovation Studio. And our primary purpose, our primary aims are to build a community in Maricopa around innovation and improvement. I have heard some amazing ideas popping up in different departments. Folks are working on really cool initiatives. And I didn't feel, or we didn't feel like there was a space where folks were convening to share those ideas or to learn from each other. And so we really want to build that community. We want to eliminate silos throughout Maricopa County departments. And I think based on the representation that we have here from so many different departments, I think we have a really great chance of doing that. We want to find opportunities and provide a platform for people to share successes and challenges. Again, this is not meant to be a 1 hour soapbox for me to talk at you all every few months, but we really want it to be driven by the folks on the call to provide information about what you're working on and to teach, share, and scale these best practices. So as you all are developing and implementing things in your departments, we want to hear about it, we want to share it and celebrate it and learn from it. Or if you tried something and it was disastrous, we want to hear about that too. You know, we can all sort of share in that pain together and hopefully learn together. And about the Innovation Cafe, you know, we're still learning as we go. There are definitely going to be some bumps in the road and some mistakes, which is okay. We had a really disastrous test run when I did this with my team, where everything that could go wrong did go wrong with our test run. And so there may be more of that. You know, this is really meant to be a safe space to experiment and to fail and to try new things. So I'm going to ask you all to put in the chat again what brings you here today and what you hoped to get from the Innovation Cafe. So take a few moments to share some of your thoughts in terms of what brought you here today, what inspired you to take an hour of your day to come to this, this thing that we've never done before. Gus wants to learn what others are doing to see what he can take back to environmental services. Awesome. Interested in hearing what's going around the county. Yeah, me too. I'd love to hear all the cool stuff that other people are working on. Vanessa's really new to the county, only 3 months in. Very cool. Jennifer is looking how to support, oops, sorry, Jennifer, I lost your chat, but looking to support APD as they create a space to encourage innovation. Develop our relationship with the Innovation Studio team. Awesome. Laura's just curious, connect with other departments. Awesome. So as you can see, I think what people really want to learn about and from each other is not from me. It's not like I am with Innovation Studio as the keeper of all knowledge, but it's really about harnessing that collective knowledge and information to identify some cool ideas. And for those of you who have worked with the Innovation Studio before, you know that we love data, we love charts. And so when each of you signed up, you had to enter in some data for us to tell us what you're most interested in learning about. This was reflected in the chats that you all sent just now in terms of you're most interested in hearing about each other. You know, we really like to hear from our customers and make sure that we're delivering what our customers want, as well as incorporating the use of data in anything that we're doing. And so when we looked at the signups for Innovation Studio, what most people were interested in learning about were other departments' initiatives, which I think is really, really exciting and speaks to the community that we aim to build. And then a close second was not sure what this is, not sure what I want to learn, but I just want to come. And so I appreciate that open mind and just willing to come along for the ride. And then our third was process improvement. So we are going to be sprinkling in some skill building and technical training throughout Innovation Cafes on process improvement. It's not going to be quite as intensive or heavy as some of our other training sessions, webinars, workshops, etc. But we will do some skill building and teach some quick tools in our Innovation Cafe. So it seems like what folks put in the chat definitely connects to what our preliminary data showed us. So we also, you know, in the spirit of sharing and for us to learn from each other, we invited Adult Probation to present out. Ryan, I understand that you're going to be taking up the mantle for Heather. Adult Probation has started on a really, really cool and exciting continuous improvement journey. We have been talking with them as they build stuff out and they have some cool projects going. So I asked them just to share briefly about what they've been working on so that we all in this space can hear a bit from them. So apologies, Ryan, that your slide is not up to date with your information, but we're happy that you're here. And so if you'd like to introduce yourself to the group and tell us a bit about what you have been working on.
Yeah, of course. My name is Ryan Valley. I'm the division director, as I mentioned, with Adult Probation. My division really helps support a lot of the things that the officers do in the field, direction the department goes. So I have like a policy coordinator. I have our communication center, some of our tech support pieces, and we work along with Jen Ferguson's team over the data integrity and analytics division to kind of guide and provide feedback to the department. One of our initiatives that our chief determined was important was continuous improvement, looking at what we are doing and making sure it's aligned with our mission, vision, and values. So that was kind of given to me as a project as the division director. And we were then able to bring on Heather Preston, who unfortunately had a family emergency and is unable to present. So I'm covering, so you get me. And we kind of brought her in and we were like, all right, hey, what is this? We have no idea. And how do we roll this out to a department that's huge, right? Like, how do we get this across the board and kind of bring everybody in? So we are officially starting our Yellow Belt training next Tuesday, the certification through ASU. So that's the first step. Then we will be doing a Green Belt right after that through San Diego State University. So one of the biggest things is we wanted to get certification for us. The other thing that we did actually before that was we engaged the Innovation Studio. I got to join the sequential intercept modeling that Christian and Josue, I think is his name, did for us when I was with the mental health team. And I was reviewing some notes on process mapping and stuff like that. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've done this. Like, I know I've done this. And the weird part was it was actually a picture of what we had done for the sequential intercept model. So I blindly emailed them and said, hi, can you help? I have no idea what I'm doing, just guide me. And so we've had a couple of meetings so far. They've shared a ton of resources. Sorry that I'm bragging about you guys, but like it's been super beneficial for our team. And additionally, Heather has had some one-on-one training because she's our point person. She's going to be my continuous improvement supervisor. So she's going to take all of these projects. And so Victor has helped her a ton in process mapping and just overall pieces. So we kind of developed that plan and we're still building and we're still growing. We're about to roll it out to the department so they know more about it. And we're going to build a SharePoint that what we want is we want an ability for anyone, any staff member to say, I have an idea, here it goes. And they submit it and it goes through a decision-making framework that we developed. and it determines if it's worth our, this sounds harsh, but worth our time or not, right? Like, does it make sense to move forward? Are we going to get a good bang for our buck, or is it important? There might be something that's going to be incredibly tough to do, but it really matters, so we need to take on that project. So we developed that decision-making framework, and we're getting ready to roll this out in the coming months. We're going to introduce it to our department probably this month or next month. We're going to start having conversations about our mission, vision, values. As I mentioned, we're working with Jen's team quite a bit on that kind of stuff. So we just gave a survey to our executive team on, does our mission, vision, values align? We're not going to drastically change it in any way, but is there a word we can change? Is there a concept, a feeling, or whatever that we can do better? Additionally, we've taken on 3, maybe 4 CI projects, continuous improvement projects. I do not recommend doing that before you know what you're doing. It has been a process. Luckily, 2 of them were pretty easy, like low-hanging fruit. It was more of just like a quality assurance thing. One of them was a process mapping thing that didn't involve continuous improvement. It was literally just process mapping. Another shout out to Victor for helping Heather do all of that as well. But the one that I want to talk about that Heather kind of told me to talk about was our continuous improvement process that we did with our support staff through what we call our production folder. So officers submit documents in order to get things sent to the court. That's the generic overview of it. And they do it per building. So if our Mesa office gets it, they do it for Mesa. If our Scottsdale office gets it, they do it for Scottsdale. Well, in November, we had a reorganization that put all of production underneath one division. That means one unit handles all production from every building. And so what we did is we wanted to develop a continuous improvement project that would kind of figure out how to do this. That's what we were working on. And unfortunately, we learned that you need to have a charter, like a project charter. And what happened here was we didn't have one going in because we thought it was just more of a conversation than anything else. And we significantly went out of scope, like with them. And it wasn't us going out of scope. It was because we were just facilitating, but we didn't catch it until it was too far in. They started talking about, well, who's going to sign for the mail and who's going to do this and who's nothing that has to do with the actual production folder. And what we learned was we didn't give those guidelines and those boundaries. So they went way out. And when we gave them a time frame of 5 weeks, they were like, we can't do this in 3 months. What are you talking about? Like, and so finally we called a timeout, had a conversation saying, well, maybe we should ask this question. Does what you're asking go to the production folder? Yes or no? If it's no, it's outside of the scope. It doesn't have anything to do with the project that we're working on. And if it's a yes, then let's include it and see where it goes. So I would say that was probably our biggest thing rushing into it. It had to get done. It was one of those, we have to do this, but we could have been better about it. So project charter is like something that we're going to implement on every single project coming up, like guaranteed. Like that is the first step. We've promised ourselves never to do this again. It was one of those learning moments that we missed and we want to improve on. So that's what we're going to do every time starting now, but hopefully after we get some more certification. So I think that answered all your questions, Kelly. I'm happy to take any questions too.
Awesome. Yeah, if there are any questions for Ryan, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute yourself and share them. But honestly, like Ryan and I, the coordination for adult probation to speak, I didn't give them a whole lot to talk about, or I didn't give them very specific prompts, but you hit on like so many really important things, which is, you know, casting a wide net in terms of generating ideas. So instead of instead of trying to tell people what is important and what to work on, but to really cast a wide net and to generate ideas from that larger group, I think is really critical and something that we're actually trying to do more of after speaking to adult probation, as well as, yeah, the importance of a project charter. We also have been stuck in situations where we didn't appropriately scope something or didn't maintain boundaries with our charter, and that blew out of proportion really quickly. So, but they're doing some really awesome stuff, and it's been so cool to see what they're working on as they get started in continuous improvement. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Ryan, and for stepping in for Heather on really short notice. We appreciate it.
Happy to do so.
So that's from one group, and I thought, or from one of our teams, one of our partners in innovation, as we're calling them, and we want to really encourage folks to share as openly and honestly as Ryan just did about what you've been working on, what you want to work on. So we're going to be sending folks into breakout rooms with about 3 to 4 folks. You're going to be in your breakout room for 12 minutes total, because really the intent, remember, is to hear from each other about what other people are working on. And so we really wanted to meaningfully embed time for all of you to talk to each other. So when you are in your breakout rooms, sorry y'all, my dog is behind me drinking water. Any of you who have been in meetings with me before have heard her. I know PubFid definitely has. Cindy and Tara, they've heard my doggy before. So when you are in the Zoom breakout room, you have an option to ask for help. So if you get stuck, if you need any technical assistance, Martin Becerra and I are on the line and can hop in and out of rooms to help. And you can also invite the host. So if you need any help, go ahead and invite us to your session and we will hop on over. In your breakout room, so again, you're going to be there for 12 minutes, but if you finish early, feel free to invite us in and let us know or ask for help. And every 3 minutes, you're going to see a broadcasted message at the top of your screen to switch to the next person. So if you're looking at your Zoom screen, you are going to see that broadcasted message. And then what we'd like for you all to share with each other is just a few questions, is to share what your name and department is, what you're working on as it relates to innovation or in your department, or what you would like to be working on if you don't currently have any initiatives that are active. And then what challenges are you having related to innovation and improvement in your work? I know that's a lot to remember, so we're gonna be, after you guys go into your breakout rooms, we're gonna send this message in the chat, these questions, so you'll have them there for reference. So we're gonna send you all into breakout rooms for the next 12 minutes. I'm gonna pause and see if folks have any questions or anything that they need before you go off into your journey of your breakout room. And give me a thumbs up reaction if you're good to go. I see a mix of digital and physical thumbs, love it. All right, perfect. So Martin's going to be sending you all into breakout rooms, and we'll see you back here in 12 minutes. Yeah, enjoy meeting your other partners in innovation and hearing what they're working on. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed getting to meet each other and talking a little bit about what you all are working on. I'd like to hear a little bit about your discussions. Maybe if anybody feels brave enough to take themselves off mute and talk a little bit about anything that you learned about your partner, anything that you found interesting about your discussion. You don't have to do super formal, like this is Kelly and her role is, etc. But just any takeaways that you had for your discussion, I'd love to hear about it. Or if you want to drop it in the chat, that is also an option.
Hey, Kelly, I could share really quickly.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, so in my group, we all talked about different projects, kind of ideas that we're working on and certain challenges. One of the groups, they're working on the public fiduciaries organization, trying to organize within their, I guess, their group, so that way it's just more efficient. The other thing is challenges with regard to trying to roll out a program, a leadership training, which actually sounds fantastic, but I think that's the lady that was sharing, Danielle, that's why she's here, to try and get some ideas on developing a program, but also rolling it out when there's certain challenges with regard to that. And then the other gentleman, he had shared that he's working on, he works on DocuSign, and that's an initiative that he's been working on, and the pandemic has really helped with rolling that out to more departments, which is good. It's something that's certainly helpful. And then myself, I just shared that I'm just working on a process improvement idea, kind of some hiccups there, just still learning the department that I'm assigned to. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our group.
Oh, that's awesome. And so many interesting things that, like, it sounds as though everybody here is working on different improvement initiatives within their departments. And hopefully you're able to get some ideas from each other. Dave, I remember working with you on DocuSign in public health on community testing, and you were just exceptionally patient with our 300 requests and different changes. So yeah, I'm sure that can be tricky, because I know just our one little unit was difficult. Awesome. So I'd love to hear more from each group, but I want to make sure that we have adequate time for the rest of the things that we have planned for today. And so we're going to do a quick demo and walkthrough of the weighted decision matrix. So we're going to be launching a quick poll. Martin's going to be getting that up to see how many of you are familiar with this tool or have used it before. And by the end of today, you should know how to use it, and you should be able to independently use it. And I cannot see the results. So Martin, if you could let me know when those are ready and tell me what the group has to say.
Awesome, everyone has answered. I'm gonna go ahead and share the results now. All right, so we have 14% that have used the weighted decision matrix before, 71% have not, and 14% are unsure that they might have used it before.
Okay, awesome. So it looks like it's new to most of the folks in the group. It's really, really simple, but it's something that I personally like a lot. The weighted decision matrix is the way that you can weigh or assess multiple alternatives to a problem, and you can give each one a ranking or a score. So what I like it for is if you're trying to bring more objectivity into any type of decision, it's something that you can use to really quickly narrow down your options and narrow down what are the most important things in making that decision, and how can you document or how can you make a decision that's aligned with whatever are the most critical components of that decision. It can be used independently or with a group. I have used it because I'm a super nerd. I have used it for making my own decisions, and I've like made a little weighted decision matrix on paper and used it for personal decisions. We've also used it in groups when deciding like what project we want to work on or what initiative to pursue. And we're going to do kind of a fun example, which is a frequent debate in my house, which is where are we going to order pizza from? So this is the weighted decision matrix that we're going to be reviewing today. So the three options that we're usually arguing about in my household, or three of many, but are Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Domino's. So our problem is we need to decide where to order pizza from. So we have multiple alternatives, multiple options. I've pre-filled 3, however you can have, the template is built for 5, but this can go on for however many you'd like. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to decide what criteria we use to make a decision about what pizza to order. So let's hear from you all if you can put it in the chat, or if you can take yourself off mute and share. When you're thinking of where to get pizza from, what are some of the criteria that are most important to you? Is it value? Is it speed? Is it cheesiness? Is it greasiness? Is it toppings? What are some of the things that are most critical to you when you're deciding what type of pizza to get? And I see how long it will take to be delivered. So I'm going to go for timeliness. And then I see price. So I'm going to assume good price or low price. Ooh, specials. Any pizza, anytime, anywhere. I don't need the matrix for pizza. So you're just ordering like 5 pizzas simultaneously. Is it Peter Piper pizza? And then let's do taste. Okay, this will be our third criteria. Again, template's built for 5, but you can go up or down. So you're going to plug in your criteria for whatever your decision is. And then you're going to assign a weight. So you're going to assign a weight to each of your criteria from 1 to 5 based on the level of importance in making that decision. 1 is it's least important to your decision. 5 is most important. You can have multiple criteria that have the same weight. If the matrix is automatically going to adjust those values for you. So if we look at timeliness, how does that weigh for everybody? On a scale for 1 to 5, how important is timeliness for you? And go ahead and drop that in the chat. So timeliness. And Martin, it looks like my Excel sheet might be freezing up. This is the fun of the virtual world. If you could pull up the decision matrix So it looks like the consensus or the most common score I'm seeing for timeliness is a 3. All right, and then let's go to low price. So if we're looking at the price, how important is that to folks? Ooh, my screen is working again. Woohoo. So how important is price for folks? So go ahead, 1 to 5, what is your score? I see a 5, a 4, 3. Let's go ahead and give this one a 4. So on a scale of 1 to 5, we're gonna say price is 4. And then what about for taste? So if we were to look at taste, how important is that on a scale of 1 to 5? 5, of course, right? That's like why you're getting pizza. Okay, 0, Mitch, you are the wild card. Pizza from anywhere, don't care how it tastes. Don't care how it's made, when it comes, I just need it all the time. I respect that commitment to pizza. So we're gonna put a 5 here. So what you can see is that the matrix is going to automatically assign percentage values based on your criteria 3, 4, 5. So it's gonna automatically calculate that percentage. So now we have our 3 options, we have our scores. Let's go ahead and score our 3 pizza options and decide where we're going to get pizza from. So for timeliness, how would you say Pizza Hut rates on a scale of 1 to 5 based on how well it meets your criteria? 1 is it does not meet your criteria at all, and 5 is it completely exceeds your criteria. So how does Pizza Hut do on timeliness? From 1 to 5, how does it do? You see a 5 from Andres. 4, 4, 5. Okay, we're gonna go with a 5 then. What about for price? How does Pizza Hut do? A 2. 2, 5, 3. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put in a 3. Looks like folks have some different opinions on the affordability of Pizza Hut, so I respect it. I'm gonna do a 3. Cindy says hot tip 3 if you get the big box, noted. And then what about for taste? How does Pizza Hut rate on taste? 1 to 5. 1, 2, okay. -3. Wow, some haters. I'm not a big Pizza Hut person either, but my husband is, so that does not always bode well. I'm gonna go for 2. I'm gonna try and meet you all in the middle. So where did Pizza Hut come out? It came out at 3.08. So Papa John's, let's go. What's the timeliness for Papa John's? 5, 4, 4. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with the 4. Let's go with price. How does it do in terms of price? 3, okay. And then let's go for taste. How does Papa John's go for taste? 2, 3, 4, 3. I'm gonna go with 3 based on the scores I'm seeing. All right, and then last but maybe not least, we're not sure yet, is Domino's. So timeliness for Domino's, how does it rate? I'm seeing 3s and 4s, mostly 4s, so I'm gonna go ahead with a 4. What about for price? How does Domino's do on price? 5, seeing some 5s, 4s. I'm gonna go with a 5 based on the data. And then taste, how does Domino's do in terms of taste? Let's see if, 2s, ooh, ouch. Okay, 3, I like Domino's. Husband does not. Okay, so we'll go with the 3. So you can see here for our 3 options based on the weights that we put in and the scores that we've given to each based on how well these pizzas meet our criteria, we have our ranks of Domino's is number 1 because of its amazing price specials. Number 2 is Papa John's. That is surprising to me. Did not expect Papa John's to beat out Pizza Hut, which was number 3. So you can see this is a really, really simple tool that you can flex and use for a lot of different decisions. We have used it in public health in deciding, which communities would receive COVID-19 testing. It can be for silly things, serious things. We chose pizza because I love to eat pizza, but you can really use it for anything, anytime. So I hope and would encourage each of you to give this a whirl. If you maybe are having a debate in your household, in your department, and you feel like you need to get to a decision and you need to show how you got there, need to document it, and you're looking for something that can get a group to consensus, this is a tool that I'd invite all of you to use, and I'd love to hear your experience on how it was for you. So this is something that was sent out and is available for all of you. So we're almost at the end of our time together. However, this is not the last you'll see of us. We are going to have innovation cafes. The goal is to have them every other month, but things change as we learn and grow. So right now we're tentatively slating for beginning of August. Some upcoming chances to connect with us is our 5 Whys training. This is a process improvement technique to drill down to the root cause of an issue. The continuous improvement leaders from the Innovation Studio are going to be hosting this training, so we'll be sending out the registration link for that. We also have a design challenge coming up where you can work on a project of your choosing from your department and receive targeted coaching and support from our service designer, Christian. And then you can also sign up for our newsletter. In our newsletter, if you're not already signed up, that's where you get access to videos, to training sessions, to all kinds of stuff. If you sign up for our newsletter, that is where you can hear sort of what's up for, or what's coming up for the Innovation Studio. So those are some upcoming chances to connect with us. So the next session's topic is TBD, because based on the data, what you all are most interested in learning about is each other and what other departments are doing. So I'd like to ask folks to drop into the chat one cool thing that your department is working on. And we're gonna sort through all the responses and we'll follow up with some of you to identify possible topics for our next session. So don't be shy, dropping it in the chat is not an obligation to present, but remember, we're all here because we want to learn from each other. So put what you're working on in the chat, and that way we have something to follow up with you all on. All right, and Martin is dropping some of our links into the chat as well for our SharePoint newsletter, and then if you want to submit an initiative or an idea. So I see all kinds of cool stuff, cool ideas. Please keep them coming. Or after the session, if you'd like to have coaching with the Innovation Studio, if you'd like to work on something with us, you can use any of our links. You can also email me directly. Oh yeah, Tara, shared drive cleanup, that's a big one. But that brings us to the end of our time together. So before you go, we're gonna ask you to take one last poll just to hear what you thought of the Innovation Café and our launch. So I wanna thank you all for coming, and I'm gonna hang on the line for the next few minutes. If any of you have questions or things that you'd like to staff with the Innovation Studio, I'll be here. But that's all we have for today. Thank you all so much for joining. It was really, really nice to see you all and to see familiar faces and to meet new people. So thank you guys for coming.